Americanism, not globalism, will be our credo.
What is it you're waiting for? Do you even know anymore?
These are people who work hard, but no longer have a voice. I am your voice.
Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new live stream. Make sure you guys smash that like button down below and subscribe to the channel. Obviously a lot of you guys are already watching or subscribed, but anyone on the replay wants to hit that subscribe button, do so. And if you are subscribed, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video or live stream. We're trying to get to 100 likes before we turn on the face cam. We got almost 200 live viewers, and we got a good show for you guys tonight because it's our 6-year anniversary stream, and we'll be talking a little bit about that, but we have a lot to cover about Trump and Elon Musk with some of this USA drama that's going on. They're catching a lot of waste within our government that's been going to ridiculous things, and there's a lot of people that have questions about what Trump is talking about in regards to some of these, tariffs and what's going on with him, and saying he wants to take Gaza. Is he going to take Gaza? Is that another territory? Should we be involved? What is his real strategy here by saying this? We're going to be discussing. So hit that like button down below, subscribe, make sure that you guys are subbed, and make sure you have the bell on as well. We're at 92. Let's get to 100. 95. We're getting closer. That face cam is going to go on any second now. We're waiting, still waiting, and currently, also just to let you guys know, we have a goal for the stream, and we did hit our likes goal, but the super chat goal, if we can get 20 super chats yellow and above past this point, we will have hit our goal in that department. So without further ado, the face cam is on. 6 years of Red Eagle politics. It's official. I've been doing this since 2019, and we started off with one video that we posted 6 years ago today, and it blew up. It got over 100,000 views within the first few months, and not only did we grow the channel from there, but we sustained the growth. We have had, hundreds of thousands of people across several platforms on this brand ever since we began. And I'd like to say thank you to all of you, because while many people will say, happy anniversary, happy channelversary, all that's true, but it's you guys who helped build this. So it's not just an accomplishment for me. Everybody has a brick in that wall. Everybody has a stake in this channel here. So it's not just for me, it's for all of us. We've done this for 6 years. We've built up 200,000 plus people and growing. It's not really slowing down anytime soon. And on Twitter, on X, we've had over 100,000 there, several other platforms, a lot of different people, a lot of great commentary on this channel over the years. We've been through 2 Trump terms, 2 non-contiguous Trump terms. We saw 2 very different elections with 2 very different moods in their results. We survived 2022. We were vindicated last year in 2024, and not a lot of people could have fought through that adversity with all these stupid people trying to fight them every step of the way. But we did it. I did it. We all did it. So thank you guys for helping as the show has gone on, and that show is going to continue to go on. A new chapter every year, it seems, a new season. It's season 7. It's beginning right now. We got 2025. Let's see what's in store, but it's been crazy. Just the whole ordeal. And why I started the channel was to help Donald Trump get reelected in the first place. A lot of people thought it couldn't happen. I thought it was going to happen. Then you had COVID. You had a lot of midnight shenanigans, trickery, a lot of stuff going on in 2020, but 2024 despite it all, Trump came back and we officially fulfilled our goal. But I mean, we're just getting started. You got to sustain it. You got to protect it. I mean, this is our country. It's deeper than just an election. It's a lot bigger than that. So I do appreciate you guys for being with me on this ride. It's been a long ride already, and it's going to be a long ride to go. And, not a lot of people have a channel on this platform for 6 years that's able to have consistency, not just with the product they're putting out, but in terms of the ability to sustain viewership in season, in the off season, etc. But we've done it thanks to you guys. You guys have been great. You guys have been loyal, phenomenal. Wouldn't trade you for any fan base in the world. I can guarantee you guys that much. But we got a great audience we've built, a lot of different people, all ages. We're reaching all wings of the party to a certain extent, and we got a great group. So hopefully we can continue to grow. We got a silver play button. Let's see if we can get that gold play button eventually. We're about 21.5% of the way there. So I don't know, one day, maybe one day, but I do appreciate the support. I appreciate all you guys over the years. We've definitely, it's been a ride, just seeing all the elections, everything that's taken place in politics. We've had a lot of chaos, some good chaos, some not so good chaos in this world that we've been here for, we've been analyzing, but we're up there, I would say. I'd say that this channel's been able to do something that not a lot of people thought could be possible. So I didn't think we'd get this far from the onset, but we did it, and we're going to get even further, and I know that for a fact. So appreciate you guys. It's been a ride, and we have a lot to talk about. Thankfully, we got the second Trump win, which means we get second term Trump and second term Trump wins in terms of policy, and we're going to be getting to some of those as well, because Elon Musk has been with him this time. And you have Elon, head of DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, and he's gone in there. And you have these people that are basically, they doxed a lot of them, and they're like these 20-year-old techie nerd types, and they're going out there, they're auditing the entire government. And the left is furious because they know that a lot of their causes are funded through basically money laundering that we've seen from USAID, from, I'm sure there's other sources, by the way. It's not just USAID, which is this program. They say it's like a foreign aid program. First of all, we give out so much foreign aid to begin with. But then we have this other program that we have called USAID, and the things they fund, we're going to get into some of them, but it's the most ridiculous stuff in the world. And you would think that if the left actually cared about government efficiency, the people that said, oh, Trump ran up the debt in term one, if they actually cared about lowering the deficit, lowering the debt, the so-called fiscal conservative crowd, which is just nowhere to be found. Many of like the anti-Trump Republicans that will fall back on the fiscal conservative, tagline, they're nowhere to be found when it comes to DOGE, when it comes down to something like this. It's a major, major problem, that these people are uncovering. And a lot of the never Trumpers and people on the left are silent and they're furious. Why exactly are they? It's a really important question to answer. But one thing we do know is that here is what this program is funding. $1.5 million for DEI in Serbia. $70,000 for DEI musicals in Ireland. Wow, that's really going to be something that's useful to the American people. DEI, which is a disaster, disgrace, in Ireland, $70,000. It's not a lot of money on the surface level compared to what the government spends, but it adds up. When you add it all up, that's a lot of money. USAID should be completely gutted, and it's like 1% of our GDP. And it's just a small fraction of what they barely begin to realize is a problem. $2.5 million for electric vehicles in Vietnam. Can't Vietnam take care of that? They make products. They can increase their own revenues. They can buy $2.5 million worth of electric vehicles. Why exactly are we funding $2.5 million of electric vehicles in Vietnam? It's ridiculous. $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia. $32,000 for transgender comic book in Peru. So basically, we're teaching people to be crazy in South America. $2 million for sex changes and alphabet stuff in Guatemala. $6 million to fund, I assume that means to fund tourism in Egypt, which is, again, why. Hundreds of thousands of dollars for a nonprofit linked to designated terrorist organizations. So they're basically funding terror groups through this program as well. It's money laundering. Millions to the EcoHealth Alliance, which has been involved with the Wuhan lab, which has basically been proven that that's where COVID came from. Funding for personalized birth control in developing countries. Hundreds of millions for farming equipment used to support heroin production for the Taliban, basically. This is where our money has been going. And it gets worse. There's Politico subscriptions they're paying for that you don't probably need to see all of these people paying for these subscriptions, but they're funneling money directly to these news media organizations that so conveniently have this bias, and it's pro the deep state. When we talk about the deep state, a lot of people think, oh, it's like a conspiracy. This is like a crackpot theory. No, it's real. You're looking directly at it. Is it more disorganized than some people might think? Yeah, but arguably that makes it even more dangerous, and we're kind of seeing that. It's money laundering. We see it all around. Why do you think things run so poorly within our government? Because there's so much waste. It's not like it's efficient. It's not like things run smoothly. You have people on the left, they say, well, we need government healthcare, government this. It's like, if you think that the U.S. government's going to be able to provide that, given how they operate, even if we accept the notion that universal or single-payer healthcare is feasible in other places and it's the ideal system, it wouldn't even be here because our government doesn't work smoothly. It's not a government that runs itself efficiently. You have a lot of bloated bureaucracy, these left-wing bureaucrats. They're spending millions of dollars for transgender stuff in Ecuador. And you think that our government's going to be able to functionally take care of the population, abolish private insurance, and go from there? You think they're going to be able to do that? I don't think so. I don't, for the record. And on top of it, what else do you think they're funding? They're funding the election mafia. This is not a joke. Morning Compost, one of the worst pollsters of 2020, 2022, and 2024, has been funded through the government. I don't even know if this is directly through USAID, but they are funding Morning Compost. They've paid them hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years. This is where your taxpayer money's going, to these garbage polls. These garbage polls that have had, errors that have been extremely ridiculous, that we like to make fun of on this channel because they're awful. And we're proven right almost every single time, actually every single time, when it comes down to Morning Compost. You look at it, it's like, hey, this is what's going on. This is where our taxpayer money is going. Morning Compost. Seriously. Instead of actually rebuilding the country, instead of having a government that works for the people, instead of actually having solid infrastructure, where's it going? Oh, it's going to Morning Compost. Yeah, they'll take your money. They'll put out a Harris +7 after the debate because their panels are just garbage and skewed with crazy liberals. Even some of the so-called Republican sample are just people on the left pretending. And we've been going against these people for years in the election mafia, and it turns out they're being funded directly through the government. Our government is laundering money to a lot of these people. I mean, they are. And Elon Musk is catching them. And you have a lot of people that are going out there and catching them. And CNN is just losing their mind about it because some of these people, they had somebody, somebody was fired or they resigned because of like some off-color social media posts, which honestly, I don't care. If you're going to do your job is to audit the government. I don't care what you post on social media. Don't do it under your real name, obviously, whatever. But either way, like they have this guy, his name is Big Balls, and CNN is just melting down because Elon Musk is having people that are like real people, oh, this guy said something controversial. I don't care. I care that our money's going to fund chopping off of penises in Ecuador. That's the main purpose here, not, oh, these people have to be squeaky clean on social media. I want to know where our taxpayer dollars are going. Donald Trump was elected. We'll get to that argument in a minute because so many people don't understand how these things work because they're coping so hard. Their copes are more incoherent by the day. But I wanted to play at least part of this clip from CNN because it's just hilarious.
A 19-year-old high school graduate who has used the unfortunate nickname Big Balls online, so that would be one way that we could refer to him. He is now working at Musk's behest inside Doge. and we looked into
Okay,
his
so
background.
apparently this guy, Big Balls, is not the guy that was fired, or not fired, he resigned. I don't think Musk is the type of guy to do that. But what we do know is that there's this guy, 19-year-olds, and look at their faces. They're just seething. They're coping so hard because Big Balls is on his way to get to the bottom of all the bullshit because he's got big balls and he's using them. He's got the balls to take on the system thanks to Elon. And they're not happy about that. Look at these people. They're devastated. Like, what's going on? Why is the media this devastated about something that we should be happy about? It's like, oh, but these people have access to data. It's like, okay, well, so does the government. So, like, why would I trust these people any less than the government? What are they going to do with this data? Like, it is just important data. If you know, that's kind of a cope. Fine, black out all the names and numbers unless you have to like use them for some reason to make sure you can audit properly. But the bottom line is that I don't care. I don't care if Big Balls has access to my address, my phone number, my social security number, so long as he's doing his job properly. Like, that's what matters here. I want the job done properly. I want Elon and all these tech nerd kids, whatever, a lot of them younger than me even, going out there and making sure they can find everything wrong with this government because these kids know how to write code. Elon is using them, and they're pissed off because they understand these are smart people, these are capable people, and they're onto their bullshit, for lack of, excuse the language, but they're onto their nonsense, for lack of a better term, including people like Big Balls, going out there and just auditing the government. This is important. We need to do this because how much spending, how much waste, how much debt have we buried ourselves in over ridiculous nonsense like this? And it's not just USAID. That's one area. That's not a lot of money comparatively speaking. There's a lot. If that's what you find in USAID, think about what you're going to find in the rest of the government. All these other programs, all these other, I guess you would say, divisions and levels of bureaucracy. And then you have people like this guy from Florida. He's coping so hard. He's saying, Elon thinks this is a joke. This isn't an effing joke. Nobody elected you. And there's no oversight as to what you and your goons are doing with private data. Well, I mean, here's the deal. What do you think they're doing? They're not doing anything with the private data. I don't think they care about private data. I mean, these have been the same people that have defended many breaches of the government into private data for many, many years. It has nothing to do with private data. It has everything to do with the fact that they're upset because Elon Musk is actually going out there and providing some sort of accountability for the government. That's what they're upset about. They're like, nobody elected Elon. Well, who elected the bureaucracy? They say it's unconstitutional. Well, you know what's unconstitutional? The bureaucracy, the fourth branch of government, because that's not a thing. That's never been a thing. It's been bloated. It's been overgrown. It's not helping the American people. In many cases, it's hurting the American people. That's nowhere to be found in the Constitution. It's nowhere to be found. So I don't want to hear about it from these people who are just afraid that Donald Trump and Elon Musk are fulfilling their promises. And also, Donald Trump was elected to the White House campaigning nonstop with Elon Musk, and they were campaigning on, oh, I'm going to have Elon in charge of the Department of Government Efficiency. And Elon Musk is going to, cut all this wasteful spending, and we're going to start paying down debt. Now, is he going to eventually get us out of a deficit? Are we going to pay down debt? I don't know. It's very early on, but the bottom line is they're trying, and that's a good thing. And Donald Trump campaigned on this. He deserves to have this in place. The American people voted for it. And it's a very popular, wildly popular thing. That's what they don't understand. Like, they're upset that we're cleaning out the corruption of our bloated bureaucracy. Donald Trump campaigned on Drain the Swamp, and the first time around didn't really do it entirely, and that's kind of an issue. And people on the left would use that against the right to sow division. They'd say, oh, Trump didn't drain the swamp. I mean, it's technically true. He didn't fully drain the swamp. In many cases, the swamp continued to persist under Trump. Now, I will say that Trump's intentions always were good, but he was surrounded by swamp creatures. Now it's a little different. The reason why they opposed Trump so I guess you would say, so ferociously this time around is because they understood that Donald Trump has been around the block. He knows who his friends are. He knows who the traitors are. That's why they really have tried to hammer home the point against loyalty being like some bad thing for Trump. But in reality, it's important. So you have people that want to see you do well. And I think that's very important when it comes to the merit of the president and how he's able to do his job, and we understand it. But you look at this and it's like, yeah, the left, a lot of these people are just angry, spiteful, and mad. And it's a large, or I'd say loud minority, not a lot of people, but they're upset because Elon Musk is doing everything that they campaigned on doing. And they are in the process of taking an L because it is a win for Trump. It's a win for Musk, but also because they're catching all this nonsense that these people have been funneling. And this is money laundering. They've been using our government. They've been abusing it for a very long time and time again. And finally, there's some possible accountability, and they're freaking out because of it. Very telling, but that's the way that things are right now. So, that's it. They're trying to root against Trump at every single possible opportunity, root against Musk in the process. And even when it comes down to the tariffs, you see a lot of people, they're twisting reality, because Donald Trump goes out there and he says, I'm going to tariff these nations. The other nations start to retaliate, but then Trump reaches a deal with Canada. He reaches a deal with Mexico. And as a result, he gets them to do more. Now, they'll say, well, that was the same deal as before in Canada and Mexico. Well, no, because Mexico's adding 10,000 additional soldiers. They added 10,000 during the Biden administration, but now they're adding 10,000 more. That's a good thing. And Trump's giving them a month, or the tariffs go back into effect if we're not getting anything out of that. And Canada is doing more as well. They're adding a fentanyl czar. Like, they're pursuing the original plan. That's true. There's more pressure now for them to implement that plan, but also they're doing more, and that's what's going on. But, there was this whole freak out from a lot of people in the media, and even some people on the right that are like, these tariffs are going to destroy the economy and they're going to cause prices to go up even more. Well, prices have gone up. It's cost the American family like thousands and thousands of dollars per year during the Biden administration. We don't live in a normal functioning economy, functioning society anymore. You can't afford a home, can't do X, Y, and Z the way you used to, even back in 2019. Like, it's gotten that bad. And there's obviously a lot of jobs that are going still overseas, and a lot of jobs that we have here, they're going to illegal aliens and other non-citizens on visas, and it's a major problem. And you have less native-born Americans in the workforce than you had before the start of COVID. And that's a major, major problem. And when you look at this and you see what they're trying to spin this as, is like, oh, well, then Donald Trump is going to cause inflation to go up. It's all his fault. When in reality, we ran the numbers. They ran the numbers from a liberal study, and it was $830 a year. Which, again, it is true that if you put tariffs on products from Mexico temporarily, that avocados from Mexico are going to cost more. Not as much as the left would have claimed initially and fear-mongered about, but they are going to cost more. But in reality, we have enough leverage to win the trade war, to the point where using tariffs to get what we want out of these other countries is the smart thing to do. That's why Canadians are upset. That's why they're booing the American national anthem at every single possible instance they can, because a lot of these people, oh, they're nice people. They always, the stereotype doesn't really hold up in practice, in reality. But it's like $16 a week, not even. Like, is that not worth our dignity? Is that not worth it to get our manufacturing, or possibly get our manufacturing economy back? You can always take the tariffs off if things go south, but it's like $16 a week. It's not a lot compared to what we've seen. And because if you look at what was supposed to happen with the tax cuts, they were supposed to expire, but Donald Trump got elected. And Biden and Harris, they mentioned the fact that they would raise taxes on the wealthy, but they would always dodge lowering taxes on the middle class, because the middle class tax cuts were the ones that were set to expire. So in reality, it's like if you just let the other side win, you would have had worse take-home pay, You would have had worse, savings rates from people compared to what you would have with tariffs when you actually have a long-term gain. Like, yeah, you might suffer 16 a week, which for some people is going to be more than others. And I know that's true. But still, that's not a ridiculous amount compared to the way that a lot of people have been spinning it. Like, oh, inflation's going to go out of control. It's going to be 2022 on steroids. No, that's not entirely how it works. There's many factors at play, and it hurts the economies of these other countries far more than it hurts our own, and it forces them to come to the table. Donald Trump knows the art of the deal, and we'll also, I'm sure, be talking about that in the super chats with the whole Gaza thing, because that's another thing that's 100% true. You have a lot of people, they'll freak out because, hold on one second, a little bit of a water break. But Donald Trump says, oh, America's going to take control of Gaza. But in reality, he even clarified and said no troops on the ground in Gaza. And it's clear that Trump is using that as a negotiation tool to make sure that a lot of these people, they're able to go to these other Arab countries in the region because the entire place is decimated. It's not exactly what it was before. Donald Trump knows that. A lot of these people know it, whether they want to admit it or not. And it's a negotiation tactic that Trump is trying to employ in order to get a lot of these, people to go to safer areas so you have more peace, you have less war. It's like, yeah, Israel probably is going to, at the end of the day, have control of the Gaza Strip. There's talk about Saudi Arabia, there's talk about Egypt, you name it. But it's like those types of places, yeah, you might need to play negotiation. You might need to play hardball. And Trump can say, yeah, we'll take it over. We'll do it. If you kids can't play nice, I'll turn it into a resort town or something like that. We'll put a Trump Tower there. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it's like there's method to the madness. Donald Trump is a realist when it comes down to foreign policy. That doesn't make him a neocon because he talks about it. Just like even with the Panama Canal. Like, think about it. He's not taking over the canal right now. I don't know if he ever will. I wouldn't even be fully opposed to it, depending on, how we could do it, get out of there quickly, have control. But just by the threats, look at what he's gotten Panama to do. Him and Rubio both. What have they gotten Panama to do in regards to China? It's been ridiculous. It's been absolutely insane what they've been able to get these people to come to the table and make concessions on. So it's kind of a similar tactic here with Netanyahu, with Gaza. Donald Trump doesn't want to go and send troops to go fight in Gaza, nor does he want war with Iran like a lot of people are claiming. He even said the other day on Truth Social, I want Iran to prosper, but, they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. I want to make a serious deal. I'm willing to have discussions. I don't want to go to war for the interests of other countries. I want to be the peacemaker in the region, which if you look at his first term, he was. In regards to the Middle East, you had the Abraham Accords, and then Biden comes in. A lot of countries don't want to follow them. I wonder why, because Biden was the biggest joke that has ever held the presidency, arguably in history. Probably history. Probably. So we have a lot of people that have sent in a lot of super chats, and we're going to be getting to those super chats right now, and in many cases talking about this sort of thing. So without further ado, we're going to have a water break, and then we're going to get going. All right, Johnny Heart Dog starting us off for 10 says, I'm a huge Trump supporter and support Israel. I believe the land belongs to them. I also appreciate the friend Trump's been, but I'm radically opposed to him taking Gaza. For 20 continues to send limited financial and military aid, but after that, stay out. Trump taking Gaza will be nothing but trouble. I say this with love for the administration. He needs to watch his step. Has no business taking Gaza. Well, I will say I don't think he's going to take Gaza. Because Donald Trump says something doesn't mean he's going to automatically follow through and do it. There's certain negotiation tactics that Trump has used. He used them in term 1. He's used them in term 2. Now, I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt because a lot of the people that like to jump to critique every little thing that Donald Trump does usually end up with a lot of egg on their face. And I don't want to be one of those people. Doesn't mean he can't do no wrong, but it's not like there's not some method to supposed madness here. We've seen this time and time again. All right, like, let's be honest. So I don't think I agree. We shouldn't go into Gaza. We don't need to be taking over Gaza. But at the same time, I do think that if this is something that Trump feels as if him saying is going to allow, negotiations to take place, other countries to come to the table and say, okay, we'll take in these people, it can be a little bit of a different ball game. Maybe I'm just a naive 52G chess believer, but there's been many cases where this has been the strategy from Trump and it has held up. So we will continue to see what happens here. Also, Johnny for 10 says, on a different note, these childish Democrats will accomplish nothing by delaying the confirmations. Do they need more time to hide evidence or something? It's getting tiresome. Well, they're just children. Well, what exactly do you expect? I mean, that's what's going on. So that's what's going on. Joseph Sachi for 20 says, I'm for Trump taking the Gaza Strip. I don't understand the opposition. What else worked? Do you think it's a bargaining chip? Yes is the answer to that one. Or will I be able to go to vacation in the Gaza Strip and luck? Well, you could always go to the United Arab Emirates, the Gulf states. I mean, those are always available. But I don't think he's going to take it. If he did take it, it would be like, oh, we'll have Saudi Arabian troops or something and we'll negotiate a deal and like buy this place. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Greenland is more likely. I think Panama is more likely. But I do think that it's clear that in the region, Donald Trump, there might be a grain of truth in if it was like for sale or something. Oh, well, we want strategic place in the region, maybe a military base there in the future. But I think he wants people to get out of Gaza because he understands it's war-torn. There's a lot of conflict in the region, and a lot of these people can go to nearby Arab countries that are, culturally similar instead of going to Europe. And they also, if they want, can leave their homes. It needs to be rebuilt. Maybe then they could come back. Some people say it's like a, Japan post-World War II thing. I just don't want a lot of taxpayer dollars being funded here. We spent way too much time in the Middle East, and I think it is absolutely ridiculous that we have, and I don't want to continue that. So I don't think that Donald Trump is going to want to take over Gaza the way a lot of people think. I will say that much. Kaminsky for 20 says, my friend claims that the government provides a lot of important jobs for people and that it's painfully slow and understaffed. When I interned for Chris Smith, we had plenty of staff. Happy 6 years, rep, subscribed since 2019. Well, you're an OG, and that much is true. As for the government, they provide a lot of jobs they say are important. They don't explain why. And it's clear they're not, because you've had how many people take the severance deal that Trump has provided already? I mean, there are government jobs that are important. A lot of them get overlooked because you have all this this nonsense within the government, and that's a major problem. It needs to be dealt with. So, let's see. The Video Maker 2341 for 20 says, happy 6th anniversary. Jack, been a fan since 2020. You're one of the reasons why I changed from being a Hillary supporting TDS liberal to a major 2-time voting Trump supporter. Can't wait to see what the future brings. God bless. Well, thank you. I appreciate the support. And that's great to hear. It's great to hear. Aaron Albano says, what is the story on the Cali water dump video? I haven't fully looked into that a whole lot, but thanks for letting me know. Melinda Kittleson for 10, thank you. Heo4 for 10 says, so proud of you, dude. I've been following since 2021. Glad to have been part of it. I do have a question for you, though. When do you think peace in Ukraine will happen? What will it look like? I'd say give it a year or so. I know Trump said 24 hours. I knew the second he said that on the campaign trail, they're going to hold it over his head if it doesn't happen in 24 hours. But in Trump speak, that means very, very soon. And I do think that they have been talking. I don't know when you're going to see a deal. I'd like to see something at some point this year, if not early next year, where they're able to strike a deal, get it done. I don't know what that deal would look like, but Heo4 for 10 says, so proud of you. Okay, we did that one. Never mind. XJ Cherokee Bear for 6 says, congrats, buddy. Vance is better than Pence, and Harry Sisson was in diapers when your first video was posted. Well, metaphorically, maybe. I think he still is, to be honest. Red Whale Politics for 10 Says after seeing the Democrats and mainstream media response to the USAID, it's going to make the Dems even more unpopular, even though they're at rock bottom with a 31% favorable rating. Yeah, I probably would have spent more time in this live stream talking about their atrocious leadership election, which just showed how everything was wrong with the party. But we had a lot to cover with the USAID stuff and all the other stuff that's been going on. But I've been focusing on the channel. I made several videos about how the Democrat Party is in complete and total shambles right now, and there's really no signs of it slowing down, no signs of it turning a corner. They haven't learned anything. They're unwilling to show that they've learned, and I don't know exactly what their end game is right now, but they're being led by more incompetent people as the days go by, and it's entertaining. The candidate quality thing is going to be on the other foot. Pete Buttigieg is going to be the nominee for Michigan Senate race, most likely. I mean, you have a lot of stuff going on that is not too good for them. David Hogg's in a leadership position now, so it's like, yeah, unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. What can I say? But you're right. Videomaker2341 says thoughts on John James running for Michigan governor. I think if he does, I think he wins, to be honest. I think he can win because of what's going on, where you have Mike Duggan, the mayor, popular. So I do think that John James running for governor, yeah, I think he could win it. I think probably he does, assuming it stays a three-way race and Duggan doesn't come out of nowhere and prove to be all that, I guess you would say, to prove to be all of that of a strong candidate. Which I think he is a strong candidate, but I think running as a third party is just very difficult to do. So, Red Whale Politics for 10 says, do you think if Elon and Doge shut down the Dem slush fund, they could have a problem fundraising candidates? Oh, absolutely. Especially when donors are leaving and there's no grassroots. Nobody wants to join them right now. Nobody does. It's honestly at a point, it's like, this is too easy. It feels like. But then you go online and you see these crazy people and it's like, okay, well then that'll reinvigorate the spirit to keep fighting these lunatics, because in real life they're not there. You see them now pop up, the AstroTurf protests against USAID, which nobody even knows what they're protesting. Then you have the ICE protests, where they're flying Mexican flags while saying don't deport people back to the country, the flag that they're flying. Many of these people I suspect to be illegal. It's like ICE should show up and arrest everybody at these protests and sort through them and make sure they have papers. I know they might say that violates due process or whatever. It's like, well, after a certain point you have plausible deniability. Just go for it. I don't care. Enough is enough. We played too many games with these so-called principles. Let's just go out there and win. We've been doing that. We're actually winning. We're actually doing things. You can indeed just do things. That was something that a lot of people on the right thought was impossible for so long. Competent leadership, but we've gotten it in the first week or two, and hopefully we have it for the next 4 years. We're barely getting started. Johnny Heartdog says, I want my tax money back. Well, I can't help you with that one, but I think everybody does. Let's see. Red Whale Politics for 10 says, seeing the absolute joke of USAID, which is 0.7% of the budget, it's starting to make me very curious what's going on in other agencies like the FBI, IRS, and the Department of Education, etc. Exactly. There's a lot of waste that can be cut. A lot of things we spend money on, we have no business spending money on. And it's all coming to light. And I've said it for a while. I didn't know it was this bad in this department. I don't even think that a lot of people knew it existed. USAID or USAID. I don't even know what they call it. But either way, this is a lot. They're funding the election mafia. That should tell you how messed up the situation is. All the worst people in the world are getting funding. Johnny Heartdog for 5 says, I'm tired of liberals saying nobody voted for Musk for anything. In a very real sense, people did. Exactly. They voted for Trump because not just of Trump, which is a big part of it, but look who he had around him. He had Elon. He had a lot of people around him, from Elon Musk to RFK. They're like, nobody elected RFK. Well, they did. Trump and RFK combined got over 50% of the vote in the election. Trump ran on promising RFK a cabinet position, yet you still have Republicans that are iffy on confirming this guy? Like, what's wrong with these people? So much for democracy. Democracy's out the window when it's convenient to the regime, because that's always what democracy has meant. Threat to democracy. No, it's threat to bureaucracy, threat to the regime, you name it. You name it. They're telling on themselves. That's exactly what they're doing. So, Red Whale Politics for 10 says the funniest brain dead thing I've heard is Trump caved on Mexico and Canada for suspending the tariffs for 30 days, even though he got things that he want. Yeah, well, they don't understand nuance, and it bites them in the ass, unsurprisingly, but it does. Top Gear Fan 2848 for 2 says, agree with your 2025 Virginia prediction. Spanberger 3-4. Yeah, I agree. Look, people think they're going to beat her easily. First of all, I don't think Sears is all that strong. It's not like the MAGA base is fond of Sears because of everything she set up against Trump in 2022, 2023. You know, Youngkin played it smart. He didn't say anything. Sears, on the other hand, was going out there and saying, we need new leadership. We can't win with this guy. Well, look what happened. Now she's going to want his support and endorsement. I don't know what he's going to do. Is he going to return it? I'm not sure. He might return it, but it's not going to be strong. Spanberger's got the entire deep state in her corner. The entire Nova's going to come out big for her. And I think Spanberger's going to win. Now, New Jersey, I think we could pick up New Jersey. But I think Virginia, could be close. But, if Youngkin was going for a second term, I think he'd win. But he can't do that till 2029. Mitchell Ryan says, what do you think will happen with those impeachment articles? They will go nowhere. Do I think the Epstein list will be released? I have no idea. Of course, the left's saying, well, Trump doesn't want to release it because he's in on it or something. It's like, Trump knew Epstein in the 90s. Like, we know that. A lot of people did. Billionaires in New York knew each other and were vaguely friendly. Oh, no. It doesn't necessarily mean that Trump went to the island, because he literally didn't. There's no record of it, unlike people like Bill Clinton, etc. So the list, I think it could be released. I think it should be. Is it going to be? Well, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to try to stop it from being released, but you never know. You never know. It could be. But hopefully Kash Patel can make it clear that he is indeed not suicidal. Say it louder for the people in back, please. Sent 20. Thank you. Brandon Barajas said $50. Thank you. I appreciate it. Michigan Nationalist says Wisconsin and Georgia are worrisome long-term, bullish on Arizona, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Well, I agree about Georgia. I'm not so sure I agree with Wisconsin. I think you could make the case that it's going to be stagnant. I don't think it's zooming left. I don't think there's enough evidence that would showcase that it's zooming left. Maybe not right. We thought that it really could, because the rurals have moved right, but it does seem as if the suburbs of Milwaukee do tend to be a bit more stubborn than we expected. And they're still very Republican, don't get me wrong, and will remain very Republican. And it is true Democrats spent a ridiculous amount of money there, and I think that was a state where you had some midnight shenanigans. I think Eric Hovde got shafted. I do think that there are other reasons why, too, like the America First candidate, fake candidate that they ran that got the number of votes that prevented the margin of victory. There's so many ways they like to do these shenanigans. It's not just in with mythical ballots. There's plenty of means that they use. Red Whale Politics for 10 says, seen the registration data in a lot of key important states that favor Republicans for the first time in decades. It's beautiful to see, especially in Florida, where we might see R+20 Florida in 2028. We could. You never know. Johnny Heartdog for 10 says, you say Trump's talk about Gaza as a negotiation tactic. It's what most people are saying. I hope it's true. I'm not convinced one way or the other. But he should take Greenland and the canal. Well, here's the deal. I agree with you that if we see this escalate and it's not seen as a negotiation tactic and he wants to send troops, which contradicts everything he said recently and everything Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, has said on his behalf, but if it appears that that's where this is going, then I'll eat my words. But until then, I think Trump has earned the benefit of the doubt. I don't think that somebody's a insane cultist because they happen to say that Donald Trump has earned the benefit of the doubt when it comes to the art of the deal, which he literally wrote, by the way, and which he's literally implemented his own, fashion of that in foreign policy. So we've seen it time and time again with him. This guy is known for doing stuff like this. It doesn't mean that we're going to take over Gaza, but I agree about Greenland. Canal, I agree with that too, but even if we don't take the canal, he's gotten Panama to come to the table already just by talking about it, and that's the main takeaway. And he sees how that's worked, and then he's, look what he's doing with Gaza. He's like, you guys don't want to agree to my demands? I'll be the adult in the room. I'll just take it from you. I'll take it away. I'll take the toy away from the children that are fighting. That's what he does. That's what he does. Up next, he'll be like, yeah, we're gonna take over Donbass and Crimea if you guys can't agree to a deal, Russia and Ukraine, and see what they do about it. I don't know if he's gonna do that, but if he does, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're gonna do it. But you don't know how these things go with the negotiations. American Nerd 1776 says, in regards to the Dems panic, remember what Napoleon once said: never interrupt your enemy when he's making a mistake. Also, happy 6 years. Well, thank you. And it's true, because when David Hogg was up for the election, I tweeted out, I said, I support him. He will be a great DNC vice chair. And then you have a lot of people on the right, you have a lot of people like the boomer generation. No disrespect to all the boomers in the audience, but they don't understand sarcasm as often as a lot of younger people like Gen Xers, millennials, Zoomers, etc. do. So when you tweet that out, I get a bunch of replies that actually somehow, despite being Red Eagle politics, they think I'm like some liberal, and then they start insulting me, which is pretty funny, but they couldn't see the sarcasm. It's like, yeah, no, I'm clearly making fun of David Hogg. You don't want to interrupt these people when they're making a mistake. You want to cheer them on. But it worked, apparently. If people on the right were confused, then I think it worked. I think my strategy was sound in that department. Not like it had any impact on it, but Mike Oxard says, good evening, Rep. On topic of Gaza, I'd rather it be under American control than being given to Europeans or Israel. Well, I think that, what does it matter? It's just a little strip of land. Obviously, if Trump resettles people that want to be resettled and the war stops, I don't think it matters who exactly has control. Jet Politics says, should Democrats who make a big deal of USAID be investigated? Well, I think that that's kind of what the whole point about the USAID thing is. Also, when VP Vance wins in 2028, who should he keep from Trump's cabinet? Well, it depends. I think we're going to have a very, very good chance of analyzing that 4 years from now. And damn well if Kamala Harris won, she would have kept the same cabinet in place. Nothing would have changed. Things would have gotten worse. You can critique Trump or the admin for not speeding up with the deportations. I think it's Congress's fault as well. Funding needs to be allocated soon. I hope they get on that. But even talking about stopping the bleeding, look at how border crossings since Trump took office are down 93%. Just look at something like that, and it's like, well, already the border crisis is basically solved because Donald Trump came back to the White House. So again, you want to see more deportations, but even when it comes down to something like that, it's like, yeah, out of the gate, you're seeing that. You're seeing that improvement. So the video maker 2341 says, honestly, I think Trump's second term will be similar to William McKinley's presidency. Trump has huge respects. Well, we'll see. Dova Budgie 100 says, congratulations on the 6 years. Jonathan Testicles is proud. Jokes aside, this has been an exciting ride, and I can't wait to see where this goes. Well, that's probably one of the names of one of Elon's kids that's doing the thing. They have Big Balls. Maybe that's Big Balls' real name for all we know. Jonathan Testicles. You never know. You never know. The video maker 2341 says, Youngkin and Miares are smart. Sears, not so much. Well, all that they know about Sears is that, she happens to be, she's like, when people think of Winsome Sears, all they know about her is either one or two things. Oh, she's a never-Trumper, or, she's Youngkin's black female lieutenant governor that, was pictured carrying an AR-15 at one point. And neither of those things really makes you a strong candidate. Being like on record known as a never Trumper or like insulting Trump doesn't help you even in a lean blue state, for the record. Even though you could say, like, you know, if they're super MAGA, it could hurt them. I'm not going to disagree with that if it's a blue state. But if you're stabbing the base in the back that you need to turn out in decent numbers to win, that's not a good look for you. So I agree. Sears is not really a strong candidate. In my opinion, she's not atrocious compared to, like, you know, Mark Robinson or Mastriano in terms of how much they underperformed. But, and part of that was funding on the part of Mastriano, but still, it's like she's not A tier. You're going to need A or S tier to beat Spanberger. I just don't see that. You never know. You never know. Johnny Heartdog says mass deportations are actually happening. My only complaint is they need to do it or up it by a lot. I agree with you there, 100%. Redwell Politics for 10 says the DNC event was a total clown show. People like David Hogg and the entire modern Democrat Party is a walking, talking meme. Everyday normal people are laughing at them. True. American Patriot says, do you think New Jersey gets a GOP governor in 2025? I think they could, actually. I really do. Democrats have drama on their side in New Jersey. 2 terms of an unpopular-ish governor. Jagar Riddell, thank you for becoming a member and sending 10. By the way, we need 7 more yellow super chats or above to hit that goal. We might not hit it, but that's okay. But I'll look in regular chat as well. But it's just crazy. You're seeing what's going on. 2.5 weeks, already a lot out of the gate is being accomplished in this country that we did not think could happen. Like gutting these bureaucracies. All the libertarians that wanted to sit out this election because, oh, Trump isn't perfect. Look what you're getting out of him. He freed Ross. He freed the 1-6ers. He's gutting the bureaucracy. It seems like all the libertarian policies that are actually worth something, Donald Trump is going out there and doing. And still, you get more criticism of Trump from Rand Paul than support. You know, Rand Paul, I don't even know what to make of that guy, but you get the points. Like every little thing Trump does, oh no, it's you know, if it's something that is a little bit outlandish, it's like, oh no, we got to attack the guy, they say. But if he does something good, they will never give him credit. You have the DeSimps, the forever DeSimps. You have a lot of people, a lot of factions in the right that just have this TDS, but they've always been that way. And they were proven wrong in 2024, and it was a beautiful thing to see how they really spun that, because these are the same people. Oh, Trump had never had a chance. And then they'll move the goalposts. They were like, even after the election, they'll be like, wow, Trump's victory was stunning. He won by a lot. Then it was like, oh, well, no, his victory wasn't historic at all. It's like, okay. Like modern standards, every election's going to be a dogfight. Everybody knows that, and he swept the board. You get a lot of credit for that. A lot of these people thought Iowa was in play. How did that turn out? Not too well. Same people want to talk about 2026 or the political climate. It's like, yeah, nah, that's not how it works. Michigan Nationalists draw out Ohio 9-1-13 and overturn the Section 2 of the VRA. I agree with all of that. I agree. Look at what the left has done. The right's fighting back, kind of, but not as much as they should be. I mean, if they fight back at the same level, we'd be winning the tug-of-war battle, because there's far more Republican possible seats you can draw because we have geography on our side. They don't have geography on their side. And when it comes down to this whole keeping communities together thing that they came up with for redistricting to avoid gerrymandering, well, seems like following that in practice would be more beneficial to us than it would be to them. They don't follow it. They don't care. They complain about gerrymandering. Then you have all the low IQ people on the left that'll claim that Democrats lose statewide races because of gerrymandering. You can't gerrymander a statewide race. I don't know how many times I have to tell these people, but you can't do it. It just doesn't work that way. The Video Maker 2341 says, you think Miyares could win re-election or keep the lieutenant governor position? I heard a strong candidate's running. It's possible. I mean, the top of the ticket has a lot of pull, but if Sears can keep it close enough, I think Miyares could hold. I think if there's a strong lieutenant governor candidate, they can hold as well. Red Whale Politics for 10 says, I'm pretty confident for us in the midterms. My only problem is that could happen to mass deportations at a high rate and maybe the economy not recovering at the rate we thought it would. Well, I don't think mass deportations is going to be a problem unless you think the two are tied together, which, by the way, you're going to have more jobs numbers to run on if you have more mass deportations, which that's the thing. You've had double the amount of illegal aliens in the country over the past, how many years? 4? 5? And how's the economy done? It's crashed. It's gotten worse. It's cratered. The perception of its whole. They're really not vital to the economy if this is what we're seeing. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying that's what you were getting at with that super chat, but like there is that myth going around that, oh, we need illegal aliens to power the economy. It is not how it works. It is not how it works. So. The Videomaker 2341 says North Carolina GOP are competent when it comes to fighting back and gerrymandering, but incompetent in defeating most statewide Dems at the local level. Yeah, and you could thank Mark Robinson for that one, but is what it is. I don't know how he won in 2020 looking back. It was a fluke. They didn't find out about Nude Africa, but now everybody knows about it. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You know, the GOP had that information, and they gave it to the other side. They kind of sabotaged their own in that department. That was a big mistake. If you cared that much, you knew it was going to get out there. Why don't you release it in the primary? Why don't you release it then? Why do you release it later? Because I'm of the notion that I believe it's real. I mean, come on. Like, the guy used the name everywhere else. This is from like 2000 and something. It's an old website. And then the account gets instantly deleted right after all the stuff gets leaked. Like, it was him. We know it was him. It's sad that it's him. The problem that Robinson did, he should have owned it. He should have said, yeah, I'm a changed man. I did stupid stuff online. Doesn't represent me. I've come to Christ, etc., etc. And then maybe he would have gained support because he was already in a rut. But instead, he said, oh, no, it's not me, when all the evidence shows it's you. And then you're down from being down 10 to down 15 the next day. So, you know, it's sad, but it is what it is. So, Dova Budgie 100 says, I wore my Trump fight shirt to work, and apparently it offended some TDS libs because now I'm not allowed to wear any Trump shirts to work, even though my manager likes Trump. Well, that's unfortunate. Nature is healing, but it needs to heal a little bit more. I guess it depends where you'd work exactly, if that's like a commonplace thing. Could they get away with it the other way around? I don't know your dynamic, but, you know, it is what it is. So, all right, we've been live for almost an hour. I guess this will be the last call for super chats. If you guys have any super chats, send them in. I don't know how much longer we're going to go, but I will stream this weekend, maybe after the Super Bowl, which I don't think anybody is really looking forward to for numerous reasons, but it should be a spectacle of sorts, and we'll probably go live when it's over. We'll go live that night, and it's a lose-lose, in my opinion. I don't really have a dog in the fight. You know, it's clear that the NFL has a favorite in that, to the point where it's become borderline unwatchable in regards to the Chiefs. The Videomaker 2341 says Josh Stein almost lost in both his AG losses. North Carolina GOP's left there. Yeah, they did leave the candidates out to dry, and then he became governor, which, again, that's mainly because of Mark Robinson. Kevin Jacob for 10 says, congrats, Rep. California projected to lose 4 electoral votes in 2030. Will mass deportations make it even less? Yeah, they should. Dova Budgie 100 says, go Birds. Well, like I said, I don't have a dog in the fight. Not really a fan of of either team, but it is what it is. I will say I like Butker. I like Harrison Butker a lot. I guess he's a redeeming quality of Kansas City. I mean, there's a few players on Philadelphia that I like as well, so it's just my interest went out the window after both Detroit and the Rams got knocked out. So let's see. Clay Franklin says Trump is a quote-unquote right-wing extremist and a phenomenon. Mark Robinson and Doug Mastriano are quote-unquote right-wing extremists and fall on their face. Is it charisma, abortion? Well, first of all, it's mainly because Trump's not a far, as they say, far-right extremist. They say he is. It's just competent, strong leadership. People like that. And he is anti-establishment. Some of these other people are too, but I think abortion doomed both of them. And obviously money. Doug Mastriano is a nice guy from southeastern Pennsylvania. But then again, he's just some, bald former military guy. He's not Donald Trump. Donald Trump has charisma. So it's both. I think Mark Robinson had charisma, but he also said a lot of controversial things. And A, didn't have the money to defend himself. And then B, you had the whole Nude Africa stuff. And obviously abortion was a big, big factor in both of those races. Donald Trump knows how to play his cards right on the topic, which is why you don't see it affecting him. So yeah, I don't really like the label. It's like the left painting those labels. But even if you succumb to the framework that they have on like an objective level, Donald Trump is no extremist. And that's what they don't seem to understand, which is partially why they keep digging the hole and losing. Johnny Heartdog for 5 says, will Trump be able to get his agenda accomplished if we lose the House in 26? I mean, he has 2 years to do stuff, and he still has the executive for 2 more and the Senate. So, I think I think that you got to have the House. So maybe he can get some things done, but it's not going to be at the same level. American Nerd 1776 for 10, which, by the way, we're 2 yellow super chats away from our goal, guys. We can hit it pretty easily here. Says Michigan State Representative Lori Pahutsky says she underwent sterilization to avoid becoming pregnant during the Trump admin. You can't make this up. 26 and 28 are looking good right now. Well, I hope Democrats run her for statewide office, because that'd be pretty cool for us. That would be a pretty easy victory. But no, I mean, it's their party now. That is their party. People like that. It's funny because, J.D. Vance, they said, was horrible because, he's going to cost Trump the election. He made fun of cat ladies. Well, turns out nobody likes cat ladies, which is like what I said at the time. But then you have stupid people in the media and then concerned trolls on the right say, this is horrible. It's like nobody likes these people. Nobody likes the Karens, the cat ladies, the whatever you want to call them. Those type of people, the people that will sterilize themselves because, Donald Trump is president, so we have to do so. Like, what goes through these people's minds is mental illness. You see it on the left. It's a phenomenon, and people are just insane. They're crazy people. What do you expect? So, yeah, Twitter doesn't represent the real world, as somebody put in regular chat. That is true. But yeah, I think that Trump's stance on abortion is Rust Belt friendly, as somebody said. He is pro-life, but he's more of a pragmatist. I don't think he cares that much about the topic altogether, to be honest. But in practice, he has been very pro-life as a president. He's done things that, the so-called principled conservatives over the years, like the Bushes, never were capable of doing. So, and it's not a pressing issue compared to what it was, because Trump kind of took the energy out of the room. Democrats only ran an abortion. Where did it get them? They fell flat on their face. Flat on their face. Updated tier list for Republican governor. Yeah, maybe later this month I'll do the governor, senators tier list. I haven't done one of those since 2022, 23. Michigan Nationalist is which GOP candidate will win in Michigan for Senate. Probably going to run Mike Rogers again. I'm not really the biggest fan of the guy, but I don't know who else is going to run unless anybody can think of somebody else. So, I don't mind somebody that's like a little bit swampish being like a senator of a swing state, so long as they vote the right way in the Senate and can be pressured. But at the end of the day, it's like the guy is a shady guy. And I'm very glad that we got Hegseth in at DOD instead of Rogers, because that would have been a disgrace. Dova Budgie 100 says, let's get to 20. Well, we're at 19. Trump's back in office. Money's worth more. We can afford to support our favorites like Red Eagle. We could drop Palestine, Israel, etc. Well, we're gotta get that settled. Trump is gonna settle it, in my opinion. So, Ash K2 says liberals like Brian Tyler, Kyle Kalinske, Sam Cedar, etc. are ecstatic and think that Claudia Sheinbaum and Trudeau made him surrender on. Well, of course, they have an agenda to push. A lot of those people are paid by the DNC, and that's all going to come out too, if not through the government and money laundering. But it's like, you look into this stuff, and it's like Kyle Kalinske I don't even think he voted for Biden in 2022. He was like, I'm a die hard by the principles, Bernie bro, etc. Now he's posting the most cringeworthy, astroturfed, like DNC tier memes, which are basically like shitty rehashed versions of right-wing memes from a few years ago, because the left still can't meme in 2025. It's been about 9-10 years. They still can't. It's a cliche, but it's 100% true. It's like these people clearly are being paid to just shill. People say I'm paid to shill, which I'm not. If I was, I'd disclose it. I don't mind making money. I mean, you guys have been shilling or helping shill the channel with all the donos. I appreciate that, but it's like you have people that'll say, the Trump people, it's like I'd like to see where this is, because and maybe they should be. I think the right should be paying influencers, to be honest, because we do a lot of work and the left does it, and the left promotes shitty people, and then we don't promote anybody, and you see what happens. I mean, there's some groups that I think do it, but like a lot of them are shady. So I don't really deal with that. And they're far and few between, and I don't think they pay a lot of money anyways. So Ice Cream Junkie says, thoughts on Chuck Grassley? Where'd you put him on a tier list? I mean, probably like C to D. He's very mid. He's old. He's ancient. He's better than like a Murkowski, obviously, but he's just an old guard type of guy. But at least when it like counts, he's not going to be a thorn in the side. The Video Maker 2341 says Rogers v. Buttigieg, who would win. I think Rogers would actually beat Buttigieg. Buttigieg is awful. If that's the matchup, I'll go back to Michigan and knock doors for Mike Rogers. That's how much I despise Buttigieg, for numerous reasons. Johnny Hartdog for 10. We hit the goal. Thank you, Johnny, for helping us hit the goal. But it's been a great stream. It's been a great 6 years, and hopefully a great another 6 we'll see. So, absolutely. But did I see Mitch McConnell fall twice? Yes, I did. I don't know what's going on with that guy. He keeps malfunctioning. It's like worse than what Biden was doing. It's actually far worse if you think about it and be objective. It just doesn't matter as much because he's not really in a leadership position. So, but it is what it is. Onward to 2026. Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens in the midterms. But we have a lot of stuff to cover before then. I mean, it's fun to talk about all the time, and we've had this election focus. That's not going to go away. But we are mixing in a lot of other stuff in the channel, too, because there's a lot of stuff to talk about besides, oh, is this candidate going to run in the midterms? Which we'll talk about it if it's important or if it's a dry news cycle, news day. But, yeah, we're going to wrap it up, guys. I appreciate everybody for super chatting. Make sure you guys like the stream before you go. Subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another stream. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below. And I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle, out.